Okay, hello all, and thank you for taking time out of your busy day to come along to another webinar. This is the third in series two, so thanks to those who have attended so far. We do have recordings available for those who wish to watch the other webinars back. They're available on our YouTube channel. We recently covered how to use our inquiries feature, which falls under a similar sort of category to email marketing, which we're covering today. In a few weeks' time, we also have a new user 101 webinar coming up. This will be great for those newer users, as well as those who fancy a refresher course as well. So plenty heading your way. We'll share a link to where you can register at the end of this presentation. So for those who don't know me, my name is Alex. I've been with Prospect for 6 years, 2 of which have been with the Access Group since the acquisition of Prospect CRM. So hopefully I've got enough experience for today's session. My colleague Jess is also on the call, who will keep an eye on some of the questions as they come in as well. I've seen some questions have already been submitted, so we'll aim to do a Q&A as usual at the end of the session. So we're going to focus today on our email marketing functionality, as well as how they flow through into our integrations, namely Mailchimp and Klaviyo. These integrations intentionally work very similarly, so regardless of which platform you choose, this webinar will still be relevant to you. So the aim of today's session, so the role of marketing campaigns in the Growth Playbook. The Growth Playbook is a great way to ensure you're getting the most out of your Prospect CRM, and more importantly, Prospect is actually elevating your growth throughout your organization. We're going to connect up Mailchimp or Klaviyo, probably Mailchimp for today's demo. So I'm going to show you that within the CRM. We'll cover how to use the campaign and campaign activities, how to attach an audience to these campaign activities, tagging contacts into Mailchimp, and then viewing campaign results in Prospect, as well as some of the reporting within Mailchimp as well. So before we get to the demo, I thought I'd start by explaining some of the reasons of why email marketing is so important. So welcome, nurture, onboard, and upsell new customers. You can use Prospect Integration to create drip feed campaigns, which is a great way to achieve this. For example, you can use these integrations to enhance the experience for your new customers. Prospect's functionality allows clear visibility of your new customers. Adding them to an automated workflow exposes these customers to your business. As you add new customers, they can be synced to this workflow as well. A great workflow delivers sort of a personal feel, with the added benefit of being a low-cost method to onboard new customers into repeat order long-term customers. Target and win back churning customers. So Prospect automatically syncs your RFM segments. This allows you to target those segments that are slipping away or hibernating to retain and then win back these customers as well. This could be itself actually be a drip campaign as well, or a workflow within one of these platforms. Prospect also has some great tools for increasing the value of your customers, whether this is looking at functionality at quote level, something like upsell, so sort of prompting better products or more of something, or an upsell to a sort of different quantity or something like that. All tools such as Magic Matrix, brought X but not Y, and the customer analysis, which allows you to focus on your customers' trends and identify opportunities which can then be pursued using email marketing. And lastly, measuring your success as well. So the success that syncs back into Prospect, or measuring sort of what activity has happened. This allows you to see how well your campaign has done and how many opportunities it has generated, and what steps you can then take to capitalize on your marketing efforts. So we're going to head into a demo just to avoid any PowerPoint fatigue. But before I get to a demo, we have a demo system sort of prepped up. I just wanted to introduce everyone to the Growth Playbook. This is something that you may have been introduced to in the past, but I'll act like you've never seen it before. So this is our growth formula. It's a simple yet vital blueprint for organizational growth. The formula, like I said, really simple: more customers and higher customer lifetime value equals sales growth. We then have these 7 growth strategies as you go down to attract, sell, close, and onboard new customers. And then we get down to a customer sort of lifetime value here of retention, order, and order value. Email marketing itself is sort of among several of those steps. Obviously, attract is probably the main one, and then you go down to onboarding, and there's different areas where you can apply your sort of marketing capabilities there. The Growth Playbook turns each concept into a step-by-step actionable plan to implement within Prospect. Each tile within this playbook actually links to a feature within Prospect CRM. And some of these are heavily reliant on email marketing, such as the automation and drip campaigns to sell to and onboard new customers, targeting customers to increase order value, and then use for your customer retention strategies as well. It's typically much easier to keep an existing customer than it is to find, target, and onboard new ones. And this playbook can show you how Prospect can help you achieve this and enhance your growth. But today, we'll just focus on those marketing elements. So I've got a CRM open here. This, for those who you've probably all seen it by now if you're an existing sort of webinar goer, but this is the That's My Jam profile. It's a fictitious company that sells jams and jam making equipment and such, just to sort of set the stage a little bit. And we're going to be focusing on firstly connecting up an email marketing system. So to do that, we go down to settings, expand that out, and then go to system settings. So to connect this, you will need to be an administrator. And then on this right-hand side, you can either search for the option you're looking for, either Mailchimp or Klaviyo or email marketing, or easier still, we just have this integration page on this left here. Scroll down a little bit, you'll find Mailchimp integration and Klaviyo integration. Currently in preview, just simply because it's newer, the Mailchimp was made first. Very similar to connect both of these. So you need to select which company types should be synchronized with Mailchimp, select which contact roles should be synchronized, and then lastly, how many contacts, and that's for essentially the pricing plan for these platforms, largely depending on how many contacts. You get to sort of limit how many contacts we're going to sync across. Klaviyo, again, very similar, company types, contact roles, and number of contacts there. Once you hit connect, it's a simple case of popping in your email address and login details, email and password for your Mailchimp account. For those who haven't got a Mailchimp account, it's really easy to set up. Same as Klaviyo, they both take about 5 minutes to set up with some really basic details. And I believe they both have a free version as well, which is a limited amount of customers, but is enough to get you going, especially if you're sort of a small, growing startup business. So once you're connected up, next step is to focus on actually how you can generate these sort of campaigns and get in front of your customers. So we'll start with a really simple scenario that we have a new line of products that we're planning on selling, and we want to reach as many customers as we can. So to create a campaign, go up to create and hit this campaign here and say new jam product line, bit of a description there. You can add in a budget if applicable. And then we've got a start date and an end date, which sort of defaults to today in a few weeks. So we'll leave those as they are and then hit create. So the campaign is essentially your overall marketing objective. So ours is the launch of a new jam product line. So it might just be create awareness of new product line, something really simple. And like I said, this is the overall objective of what you're planning to do this campaign for. The activities then is the specific marketing sort of tasks that you're planning on undertaking to achieve that objective. So if I create one of these, you'll get an idea. We might do new jam mail shot is an example. And we've got these types down here. So you might be doing a Google ad, a mail shot, telemarketing campaign, an exhibition. This is a configurable list. So you might have things that you consider marketing which are not in this list, but that you could have multiple activities under that campaign. So to achieve the launch of our new jam product line, we're doing a mail shot, but we're also doing an exhibition and a market stall somewhere at a festival or something like that. Cost of this one is 0. And again, we've got some sort of target dates there as well. Couple of different options as you get into this. You can add a detailed description in. We've got some filters on the right-hand side to exclude people who have bounced and exclude non-subscribed or people with no emails or something. So there's a couple of bits on the right-hand side. But more importantly, we're going to go to this target contacts and look at how we can grab the list of people we're looking for, in this case, to build awareness for that new jam launch, that new product line. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. So nice and easy way to begin with is just to go to the contacts report, and you can simply tag this list or filter this list to get the sort of people you're looking for. You may consider going to the dashboard and targeting those RFM analysis and think people actually who are going to be sort of interested in this line might be our champion and our loyal customers, and clicking into these will allow you to add to a campaign activity. Another way of doing this is to use sort of a big feature. So we've got something like the Magic Matrix, which is a tool looking at sort of product penetration. So you can see what customers are buying what of your groups here. I won't go into this too much because we do have an entire webinar dedicated to this, but just to give you a really quick idea, this customer here, Adila's Coffee Shop, are buying items from the finished jam product category, but are not buying items from the fruit flavored jam. So just a really quick idea, you can sort of go through this process, target all of the customers that have bought this product but not bought these products, and then add those to a target campaign as well. But again, not too much time spending on that. We do have a full webinar if you're interested. Another way, you can obviously add people manually. So if you go to sort of each contact, you can add people one at a time, or better yet, go and create your own report. So if we would go to a contact report, add on a few columns here. So we'll throw in, it's got name, might want the role or something, maybe the phone number, email address, maybe get something from the company level, like what industry the company's in. Just a really quick report, doesn't have to be anything special. And then we can maybe add some filters here as well. So we've got our columns. We'll add a filter in for, let's say, the role. And I'm only interested in people where the role is not unknown. So I want to know all the people we're sending to. And in this scenario, that brings me down to 55 rows. Again, you can see here that some of these are blank, so I might consider a filter later on to get rid of people who are sort of blank and have no email addresses. But for now, I'm going to go up here to the three little dots, add this to a campaign activity. So the campaign I just created was the new jam mail shop. Contacts will be added, just accept that there. And we'll go back to our mail shop. That was where I got that ID from, that 1027. And then we've got now our target contacts in here ready to go and tag these guys in Mailchimp. So from here, depending on your integration, you have a tag button at the top. Again, slightly different for Klaviyo, it'll be a slightly different button, but it does the same sort of thing. If I click this now, we just get the option to tag these contacts. So these contacts are already synced to Mailchimp. We're just looking at a way of identifying them. So might be group or new product launch, jam product launch, something like that. And we'll press OK. That then creates them that sort of full list within Mailchimp. So just to give you a bit of an insight on Mailchimp, this isn't necessarily a webinar covering the extensive features as they've got tons of content themselves, but I'm wanting to sort of show you guys around at some of the capacity that Mailchimp has. So this is your home screen. And if we go into our campaigns, we might want to make a specific campaign for the launch of this new product. So if I create new here, we've got some sort of different options here. We'll use a regular email. And what we're looking for is that sort of group of target contacts there. So we've got this to section. And if I edit the recipients, I want to send to, and I can actually go and find that tag we've just made and group for new jam product launch. You can also exclude different tags as well if there's people you don't want to send it to. Get to send who it's from, and then go through sort of this creation wizard, if you like. You get the subject on here, when it's sending content in terms of designing an email. And once you've done all of that, you can hit send. Once you've sent those emails, if I just go back to Prospect really quickly, the contacts you send those emails to, we actually sync back those details. So I'm on a contact here. If I go down to this Mailchimp page on the left-hand side, I can see that the email I've sent them, see that's my Jam new Blueberry product line. They opened that 1 day ago, 10 to 5, and I can actually link then back into Mailchimp. So they're constantly sort of talking to each other about what's happened there. So in this case, I've opened that email, but you can see if they've just clicked on it and received it. This is the email I sent last time. If I go back to those campaigns, in addition to the sort of content that we sync back to know that I've opened that email, Mailchimp also has insights there. So this is the email I sent. I can view that report, and Mailchimp will tell you that they have had this many click-throughs, this many bounces, what the success rate is as well. So you get sort of a bit of an insight from Mailchimp too. Another thing Mailchimp is really, really good at is those automations. So those sort of drip campaigns we were speaking about, where you can actually go choose some of perhaps the pre-built journeys where you can go through and offer a sort of welcome new contacts or some new leads and such like that. These are basically those workflows we were speaking about. So in our case, we were focusing on sort of a drip campaign for new customers. We can actually create a welcome new contacts here. And then you get this sort of workflow, which is very sort of plain at the minute. We've got contacts that sign up to the access group. So you can start off by putting people in that workflow, and then they will continuously be synced into that workflow as you add new customers. Then this creates and sends them a welcome email, and you can have additional steps, like if they don't click on it, it goes and does this or does different pieces as well. And you can sort of continue running through different workflows. So you might have one for retention. So if we go back to our dashboard here, we've got these customers that are maybe about to sleep. The customers in that segment, you might want to drop into a different workflow where it starts engaging with them again and just brings them back to the fold, brings them back through that RFM to giving attention and bringing them back up to being loyal customers. Again, retaining those customers is generally speaking a lot easier than getting your hands on new customers and sort of investing in that relationship from scratch. So the other thing you can do with the results, if I go back to our contact, so we know this person has opened that email and has seen it, they might then call up and decide they are interested in that product. That would be the ideal outcome. So we can go and log them an opportunity like I have done so here. So customers called up, phoned in and said they've received our email for new Blueberry product line and would like a quote to be sent over. I can do that, obviously create that sort of investment there and hopefully win that business. But you can also set where that's come from. So I can see that it was a mail shot I've sent out, and it was this new Jam mail shot that we created sort of just now. And I can see that's been linked. If I then go back up to the Jam shot, I can go and see the opportunities that have been created here. We can see that I've now logged that opportunity as a result of this campaign activity. So if I head back to our slides then, get that open. So that sort of concludes the demo side of things. Again, there's tons and tons of content that Mailchimp can deliver about actually building the campaign. What we were focusing on was sort of getting those audiences out of Prospect, using the data and the filters we've got to deliver that content into Mailchimp for the marketing purposes. So we've demonstrated connecting those integrations and shown Prospect's email marketing integrations work in line with that growth formula we demonstrated at the beginning. And we also have options for various automated campaigns that can be applied to your customers at various stages in their life cycle as well. Target and win back churning customers. So how to build a campaign to target new and existing customers and tag them in Mailchimp. Again, same for Klaviyo, in an effort to increase customer lifetime value and assist with onboarding of new customers and retention of existing. And then measuring your success as well. So again, what we sync back into Prospect coming from those platforms, we can view can report on those as well. And then a quick insight into the data that Mailchimp records as well through its own reporting and analysis of your campaigns. And then we just see how well the campaign has done, and preferably how many opportunities it's generated should that have been its objective. That sort of concludes our sort of demo side of things. Now, I have seen a few questions come in. So again, thank you for all coming along live. Hopefully this will help with the growth or continuous growth of your business as well. One of the questions we had I thought was quite important. It came in earlier on, so I thought I'd read that. Can you use these integrations to chase quotes? Was the one that I thought everyone might to know a bit more about. So in theory, you can use these sort of workflows to go and create something that chases your quoting. But I thought I'd share we actually have a piece of functionality in Prospect that's only just been released to do that for you. So if I go back into Prospect, again, you do need to be an administrator just to show you where I'm going. We go into system settings and you can search for automation. We actually have this automation process now. It's an experimental feature. It is brand new. I think released it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And what this does is after you send a specific template from Prospect CRM, this then starts an automated workflow to go and link other emails and chase after a certain amount of days or hours. So you can send the email to your customer and say, this is the quote you requested. And then 48 hours later, it sends another template for you. And then another 120 hours or 3 to 4 days, whatever, after the second interval, it then sends another email. So again, it's brand new. It's something that we've got sort of more plans for, but just in case you're interested, this is available now for everyone to start using. I started to see a couple of questions come through. So do you always have to create a campaign if you want to do a quick mail shot? That's actually not the case, no. So you can just tag in Mailchimp straight away. So if you wanted to, let's say, build a campaign or something again, or build a quick report. So we've got our one here. Instead of adding this to a campaign activity, you can just tag this straight in Mailchimp. So you can skip that step if it is a quick marketing sort of campaign or something like that. You can skip that step. That's correct. Would you set up automation in PS or MC? Generally speaking, that's Mailchimp that does that. Again, we have our sort of early version of our automated process, but the workflows that Mailchimp have are generally speaking really better at the moment, at least. So we can send across the data for Mailchimp to look at, and Mailchimp can learn from Prospect who we would like to drop into those workflows and under what conditions. But then Mailchimp can actually manage the emails, the back and forth, and give you some sort of really good analytics based on the campaign that's going across. Will the automation for Prospect recognize if a customer has responded, so the workflow would stop? Yes, that is the case. Once there's a certain action taken, I can't remember off the top of my head what those actions are, but once they've replied, the automation can stop or pause depending on what action is taken. So yes, there are sort of bits that stop that process. So they don't just say, yes, we'll buy it, and then 2 days later they get something chasing them. That's not what happens. It does stop. I had another question. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, before you answer another question, one thing I thought might be beneficial for people on this call is if you head to the tab where you've got the growth formula and help documentation, and if you just search in the help docs for me for, I think it's like leverage Mailchimp, if you just search those 2 words. So in here, guys, that one, yeah, there are actually some kind of examples of campaigns that you could send based on things like RFM segments. So if you scroll down a bit, Alex, there's some things like, if they're churn risk, and then it's got some bullet points on some ideas. So if you're sort of struggling for ideas of what kind of campaigns to send, depending on the type of audience, then maybe that's quite a nice starting point for people. So I thought I'd just mention that. And obviously this applies for Klaviyo as much as it does Mailchimp.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. So yeah, if anyone's looking for ideas or anything, just give us a shout. We can send you to this, but it's just in the articles looking for that word leverage, which would be really helpful as well. I had a couple more questions that came in as well. So just, are you planning any other integrations? There will definitely be some integrations in the future, I'm sure, to other platforms. I would advise going and checking the ideas portal and looking for anything that you're looking for in particular, or adding an idea if one doesn't already exist. And then the last question I can see is, do you offer any sort of one-to-one training for marketing or integrations? And the answer is yes. We can do one-to-one or a small group. There is a cost associated, but it's essentially what we've done in this webinar, but a lot more drilled down in detail to your sort of personal requirements. So we can do some training if you would like that. But I believe that is it. I can't see any more questions coming through. Give everyone sort of 20 seconds to type anything. Okay, I think that's done then. So yeah, thank you all very much for coming along. Really appreciate it. There's the link if you would like to come along to our next webinars. Again, I think the next one is towards the end of February. So please come along, or recommend it to colleagues as well. And if there's anything else, just give us a shout and we'll follow up. Really appreciate you coming along. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everyone. Take care.